You're listening to the Focused and Fearless podcast. I'm your host, Heather Angel, and I've been helping people tune into what lights them up and increase their personal and professional performance for over a decade. Now I'm best known as a high-performance coach helping entrepreneurs like you cut through the noise and create a business and life on your terms. If you're ready to step out of struggle and discover how simple it can be to create a fulfilling, joyful, and successful business without all the overwhelm and long hours, you're in the right place. Happy Monday, beautiful. Welcome to the episode that I promised you last week, which is a much longer episode. And it's a conversation between myself and Sadiq, my friend Sadiq, who is a business coach down in London. And he's been on such an incredible journey in such a short amount of time. He has completely transformed his life and those of his clients. And he primarily works with businesses. He's a business coach, and his speciality is really helping people get out of their own way so they take consistent action. That is what he's about, like taking consistent action, not giving up, and knowing that actually there's going to be tough times, but we can always come through them. So in this conversation, we cover so much. We talk about health and fitness, commitment to our goals, and how Sadiq actually came across self-development purely by a friend taking him aside and saying, hey, there's this whole other world out there. Here's a book I think you should read. So we talk about that, and Sadiq gives some book recommendations that he loves in the episode as well. But what I do want you to do is go and find Sadiq on all the social media platforms, whichever one you hang out on the most. He's on Instagram as Coach Sadiq. He's also the host of the Purposeful Mindset podcast, and he is a TedX speaker. So when you find him on Instagram or any of the other platforms, go and watch his TEDx talk on YouTube as well. I can't wait for you to listen to this conversation. It's a really just fun, light-hearted conversation between the two of us. He's got so much to share. He's got so much energy, so much passion. So if you are feeling a little bit flat today, you are going to be revved up and woken up by the end of this episode. So enjoy, and as always, reach out to Coach Sadiq on Instagram. Say hi, let him know what you got out of this episode. Let's dive in. Sadiq, welcome to the podcast, my friend.
Hey, Heather, thank you so much for having me. I'm super grateful to be on your show, and I'm looking forward to add as much value as I can to your audience.
I cannot wait for this conversation. So for everyone that's listening to this, we're recording this on a Sunday afternoon. I'm like, yay, it's nearly time. So, because I know you've had such an interesting journey. I've listened to several of your episodes and then from speaking to you. So what I would love to know before we dive into your sort of 3 core lessons that you've learned so far in your journey is if you can just share with listeners sort of how you help people and who you help.
Sure. So let me start with like where this all started for me, because like for a lot of people that don't know me, like over 6 years ago, I used to be super shy. I couldn't speak to women. I had 8 friends. All I did was play Call of Duty, go to the work in the bank. I work at an American investment bank. So I go to work in the bank, come back home, and then eat, play games, sleep, repeat the same thing every single day. And that was pretty much my life. It was just like what my parents taught me to do: go to school, go to college, go to university, get a good job, and that's success. And you know, as soon as I met a friend of mine a couple of years into the whole working corporate world, he invited me to just meet him for hot chocolate. And I was like, I wonder why like he wants to catch. I thought it's just a catch up. You know, your friends message you like, hey, let's catch up. I was like, sure, like, you know, let's catch up. He wanted hot chocolate. He wanted to meet specifically in a hotel lobby, and I've never met him in a hotel lobby. So I was like, why do you want me to come there? And so anyway, I was like, cool, I'm open-minded. I went anyway. And then I met him, and that was the day, like 12th of September, 2014 at 5:33 p.m. with 17 seconds to go. The reason why I remember that so clearly is because he made me write the date and time down. And he said, Sadiq, today I'm going to change your life. And then he introduced me to the world of personal growth and mindset. And he introduced me to a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And really, that's where my journey started. He showed me one page from the book that got me thinking of, like, it changed my perspective of employee mindset to business owner and like entrepreneur mindset. And that's all it basically did for me. Just opened my mind to a whole nother level where nobody in my whole life until then, at the time I was 21, no one ever taught me about personal growth or mindset before. So I was just like, wow, this was like a new Call of Duty for me. You know, that was a new game for me. I was like, wow, this is so epic. No one has ever taught me this stuff. And it's so cool. Like, why are we not teaching people about how to work on our taxes and how to make more money in your life, how to be more successful, how to go towards your dreams? Why is like the normal education system teaching us to just go and get a good job and then stay there for the rest of your life? And so anyway, fast forward to now, like after that day, it took me about a year and a half to really like indulge myself in personal growth, like reading all the books I could, like How to Win Friends and Influence People, and Think and Grow Rich. I remember reading a book called The Richest Man in Babylon, and like all of these cool books, and they opened my mind because I thought reading the title of the book, they all have the word rich, and I'm not a money person. Like I'm even now as a coach, I don't do things for money. I really don't. I do it because I love it. I love helping people and seeing, whoa, like I changed this person. I remember when I started coaching with them, and at the end of the 3 months, their life changed. And like I love the transformation of just helping people change. And so like all the books had the word rich in it, and I didn't like it. I thought it's gonna be to do with money. And I don't really care about the money. And then I started reading the books and I was like, no way, they're all to do with growth and mindset. And the word rich actually translate in those books as in mindset, like a rich mindset, to think on a more higher level than what most people think in our life. And then so after that year and a half, I remember I took out my phone, literally I took out my phone and I was like, I learned so much, I've grown so much, I've become so confident now in just a year and a half. Why am I being so selfish? Why am I not sharing this amazing, juicy content with the world? So I took out my phone. At the time, I wasn't really using social media as much. I was on the platforms like Instagram and Facebook, but I didn't post at all. It was just like my watches and cars and stuff like that, normal things that we used to post back in the days. And then I was like, I went on Snapchat and I remember I had 8 friends on there, and they literally were watching I just started making videos. I pulled out my phone. I was like, personal development changed my life and this is why. And I just started talking from the heart, no script, nothing. Even till now, I've never had a single script in anything I've ever done. Like even my TED talk was not even scripted. I was just like, I just love, I'm an energy person. I'm an empath. I love to go and feel the room or feel who I'm speaking to and make people feel a certain way, whether it's excited, like passionate, inspired, motivated, pumped up, a little bit emotional, get a little bit deep sometimes. But for me, it was all about connecting with someone or with an audience. So I've always was like, personal development taught me to just be myself. The day I accepted myself for who I am today, like I just don't care what people think about me no more. I just do what I feel like I love doing every day. The people that love me will come and connect with me and stay loyal. And the ones who don't will just faint and disappear as they have along the last 6 years of my life. So that's like in a nutshell where my journey from like personal growth to today, where I'm just like super confident and I did a TED talk at the beginning of the year in 2020, to literally a few days before lockdown in around the globe. I was so lucky to have done my TED talk and then got it out there into the world. And I think if someone ever asked me what's your biggest achievement so far in life, it will be that TED talk, because it was so hard to get and it was so, honestly, like I don't really believe in luck, but that was luck because the way it all happened was crazy. And someone dropped out last minute, and so the organizer messaged me on LinkedIn like, can you fill the gap? And I was like, of course, I wanted to do this so bad. And so yeah, I'm just super grateful for my journey so far, and my only intention every single day is to inspire people, some kind of a positive energy, some kind of love, some kind of peace, some kind of kindness into the world every day through my content that I share online. And I remember just before the call, you were saying like, you're just everywhere. You post so much. Like,
I mean, you just don't sleep. You're just there on the stories the whole time. I was like, he just doesn't sleep at all, ever.
Yeah, and the only reason why that is because like people think I'm on social media all the time. That's not actually true. Like people think that I don't sleep and I'm like always on social media, but I'm always there at the times I need to be there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm not actually on it spending time scrolling hourlessly and endlessly for no reason. I'm actually hustling behind the screens, but when I come on it, I'm like on it. Like, I have good quality content, there for my followers, always reply to comments, always reply to messages. Like I'm there for the people that I know have come from all over the world, and they're showing you some kind of love and some kind of respect, and some like they're inspired by you. So why do we not take out the time to care about them and send that little message back or that comment back? For me, that was important because obviously over 6 years ago, coming from someone that was super shy, Like I never thought I'll have this much attention that I have now in my life. And before I didn't want the attention. I was like, no, go away. I don't want pictures, no videos, there's nothing of me. I just really hated all that stuff. And today everyone thinks I'm everywhere, but that's because my message is whatever I think, I want to share it. And I'm a visual learner, so I kind of share it through visual, but now I also start like writing in captions and stuff a bit more deeper to get the more reading type of people to go through and really introspect and learn what I'm trying to share through my content.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much like what I've been doing, and like it led me from like doing an online business to transferring that to a speaking business, and then speaking to coaching now. And who knows where it's going to be. Like there might be like some fitness version of me later on down the line somewhere, because I love fitness as well. But I believe that fitness aspect of me, the reason why I share it every single Monday through my content is because it honestly is part of me. Like I want people to know who's Sadiq. When they come to my page, who's this guy? How does he make us feel? What is he sharing? And can we relate to him? That's it. Like if that's my mission every day on my content, is like I want to inspire people to feel good. So that's why I share every aspect of my life, mindset, personal growth, the physical aspect, the fitness aspect, the spiritual aspect, like everything I share with them, so they know that the guy is so passionate and positive and energetic every day because he does these things. So why don't we learn and take action on those things?
Definitely.
So
And I mean, for anyone who's listening, so I wonder what the fitness is. Don't try and do what Sadiq does on his Monday videos, because the boy defies gravity. Like it's, you watch that and I'm like, I feel like I'm watching a physics lesson, because I don't know how that's physically possible. But that would be something, I think the fitness one is actually something I'd love to ask you about, because I know you told me previously that, that was 4 years ago. I think you said you started training, like, and for people, I do encourage people to go and check out your Instagram. But now in 4 years, you went from, I'm presuming, just a normal human person,
normal human person, Heather.
normal fitness level, to doing honestly stuff that, like I said, it looks like it defies gravity, to be honest.
Oh, by the way, I loved seeing that comment. That comment made my day on Monday when you messaged on that comment, like, you literally defy gravity, my friend. I was just start cracking up.
So how did, because there's so many areas I want to go into in terms of your journey, and what I love is the fact that it started with a book, and I'm going to definitely dive into how that, just simply reading a book can change so much. But with the fitness side of things, how did you go from deciding that you wanted to get into fitness and know that training your body was actually going to be important?
So I always had this, like, ever since I was younger, like I always had this, like I've always loved sports, put it that way. Like I was always active. I loved sports. I played every sport in my high school. I played football, basketball, cricket, handball, like snapball, like you name it. I played every single sport and I loved it. Like I just genuinely loved being fit. I never had super high fitness level, but I was generally like one of those kids that were very active and always running around and crazy. And I was, by the way, naturally really good at jumping, which is why you believe like it could defy gravity and stuff. Like I naturally did have, I don't know whether it's my quads or something about me where I just used to love jumping. But when I started my actual fitness journey, like gym fitness journey, I always had this thing in my mind where the number one aim that I set myself. So do you know everyone has a fitness goal? Like this is what I want when I go to the gym. For me, everybody always asks me, so what's your goal, Sadiq? What do you want to achieve in your fitness? I'm like, you know what? Should I be honest? Like I genuinely don't have a goal of like how many reps I'm going to do or what body part I'm going to train today and all this kind of stuff. My only goal when I go and work out is I just want to have fun and be creative today. That's it. Literally, Heather, you won't believe it. Like seriously, like people look at me like,
you look like you're having a blast. Like
literally, they're just like, are you sure? Like, but what do you mean? Like, don't you want like be more toned or defined or hench? And I'm like, no. Like whatever happens to my body in that process of me having fun and being creative, it's gonna happen anyways. And so when I started 4 years ago, I couldn't even do 5 push-ups. Seriously, I struggled to do just 5 normal push-ups. Now, obviously, you see the stuff that I do, but that took 4 years of like practice and splatting my face on the mats and practicing and just really just persevering, really just like trying over and over again, the handstand stuff. And like, honestly, the amount of times I like hurt my wrists and I have to wear wristbands and stuff like that. Like, it's crazy how the journey's been. But also the other goal that I always had was I want to always be able to work out and have no excuses. So I wanted to learn a lot more about body weight training. not like weight training and all of that kind of stuff. So everything that you see in my videos, most of the time, majority of this type of training I do is like HIIT training, it's animal flow workouts, it's body weight training. Like those are the three categories, and something called calisthenics, which is like basically like body weight training and but way more advanced. So I was just, those were the four categories of things that I focused a lot on. And so yeah, like for me the biggest thing was just practice. Like I followed one guy on Instagram which I absolutely love, and I was like, I'm just gonna copy this dude until I get ripped like him, you know, like that's it. Like and that's all I did. And then my body started transforming in the last 4 years, and I was like, getting closer, like it's getting closer, you know, like it's getting there, but you know, still more work to do. But for me, like honestly, Heather, I just love having fun. Like that's my biggest goal. Like if anyone comes and works out with me, I'm like, come with me and just have fun. I don't care if you don't enjoy it, just have fun with me. Like just try to enjoy it, or find something in fitness that you love, is what I always advise people, because I love it. I don't stop. I do it every day.
That's perfect. And that kind of answers my question of, you know, for people listening to this who are like, you know, the motivation to get up and go to the gym, or get up and do some, or, you know, even just to go and do some sit-ups. It is just, if you find it's fun, or you know, it's just getting up and doing it. I find once you start, I'm the same. Like if I'm like, oh, I've got an hour workout to do, I'm like, oh, I don't want to. I'm like, I'll start with 10 minutes. And then I'm like, oh, I'm in the mood now. And then I'll do another 10 minutes. And, you know, you end up doing the exercise and you do what you need to do. So I think, you know, finding something you love is so important, because, you know, running on a treadmill for most people is just so boring.
Yeah, honestly, I rarely do it. I did it in the first month when I started in the gym. They gave me like a 1 month program, and I told the guy that I was training him at the time. He's like, "So what's your goal? You know, you start in the gym. What's your goal?" Because they always ask the question. I'm like, I looked at his face and I was like, "Can I be honest?" He's like, "Yeah, go ahead." And I was like, "Can you just only show me body weight stuff, no weights?" And he's like, looked at me a bit weird, and he's like, "Yeah, sure. I mean, I also love body weight stuff." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, I really love body weights." I was like, "But can I ask you why?" He said, and I said, "Well, I asked myself a question one day, which was, if I ever get stuck somewhere in the middle of the world, one day I'm traveling somewhere, or I'll go to a hotel, or I'm not home, like how can I still work out if I never find a gym anywhere?" And so my question was answered by myself when I was like, body weight training is the answer, where there is no excuses. I show people in my Monday videos, you'll see tomorrow as well, but like you can use a wall, a railing, some steps, a bench. Like I'm literally showing my creativity by showing people you don't need anything. Look at me, I don't have no equipment, just jumping around like a monkey everywhere and using the floor.
Which is really handy, given the gyms are open and they're shut, and then they're open and they're shut. It's like,
I wasn't even complaining one day. Like, of course I missed the gym. I was telling everyone I do miss the gym, but I was like, I never used any of the weight. I never used any machine on the gym. I just used the mat area, like literally. And I have that everywhere, in the park now, in my room, like when I go out and stuff like that. It's just anywhere I find space.
Yeah, perfect. So I would love to know. So yeah, we could talk about that for hours, honestly. But I want to go back to the fact that you had a friend who introduced you to Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is such an amazing book. How did you go from a guy who was like, oh my God, I've never heard of this whole self-growth, and which I think is such a common story. I was exactly the same. I got into my 30s and I was like, what's mindset? What the hell's mindset? Like, you know, I had no idea. So how did you go in that year and a half from reading a book to kind of evolving, if you like, into, you know, the person you sort of became?
So the main areas of things that I believe changed me as a person in that 1.5 years in the beginning was, of course, the first thing was reading those books. You know, my friend gave me a list of other books to read, and I started getting them. By the way, just to mention, I don't like reading books. I hate books. I really don't like reading. It makes me sleepy, and I just want to have a nap.
Yep.
And that's just the truth. And I always mention this to people, because we all learn differently. And I think I used to always think, don't say that, Sadiq, is bad. People say like books are special and it's full of wisdom, and it's like you have to like almost like, you know, it's like a sacred thing, books. And I was like, no, I'm not saying I hate that book. I'm just saying that I don't like reading books. Like reading is not my form of learning, because I'm a visual learner. Whether you accept that or not, I don't really care, because I accepted me for who I am, and I love watching videos and learning that way, or listening and learning that way. So those are the two ways that I want to learn. So I did start listening to audiobooks. I also start watching. The books are also kind of like, the authors of the book sometimes just make like a summary of their book in a video on YouTube. So I used to just watch that, because they basically used to share what their book's all about. So I didn't really have to read the whole book to understand, oh, that's what they actually talk about. It's about this, that. And
Yeah.
I kind of just got a gist of the book. Obviously, I never went deep into it. However, that 1 year at the beginning, I literally forced myself, Heather. I've read Rich Dad Poor Dad like back to front. Think and Grow Rich. I have the most fanciest version of it. Like I bought this really leather fancy one with a red ribbon. I was like, because everyone said to me, that's the book. Like that's the Bible of mindset. Think and Grow Rich. I was like, really? Like, and then one of my mentors online that I was following at the time, he bought this one from Amazon and he's like, this is only available in the US. I was like, I need to get this one. Like, he's got it. I want that one as well. It's like black leather. So I can go on for ages, like just describing the book is so good. But I read that book, back to front. I read it. I read those books in the beginning, which is why I'm not against them. It's just not my way of enjoying myself to read or to learn.
Yeah.
And so as I started doing all of that growth, the other thing that I was doing a lot of that I think anybody listening has to do when things get back to normal, of course, is to go to events. Like I went to so many events in the first year, like I think every single week I went to an event in London. I went to anything, business events, mindset events, personal growth events. What else? Like I went to crazy places. Like honestly, I went to really any kind of event where I knew there's people with a kind of similar mindset to me, or like on that journey, like where I am. And so I started going to these events and I heard speakers and I met people and I I introduced myself to people and I start talking because I didn't talk before. And as I started doing that, I started also like, it was so weird because when I was talking to people, the flashbacks from the things that I read from the book were coming up into my head. The book I read called, I can't remember what it's called now, but there's a page in the book they talk about matching and mirroring, and it's about psychology. And so, like, I almost found myself talking to these people and like doing what they do and like matching and mirroring their actions and to build that. They say when you match and mirror someone, so meaning when you just copy someone, how they're sitting or how they're talking or where their hand gestures are and like physical things that you can see, the eye, the way they give you eye contact and stuff. Like if you match them, then they have more trust with you. You build trust and credibility with them. So I started doing that without knowing. I just started doing it. I was like, oh my God, this stuff that I learned from the book and it's working. This is so cool.
Yeah.
That's where I fell in love with psychology. And like now I use and I train people in my coaching and stuff, like how to use psychology through messages, through just everything. But yeah, events really help me like to boost my confidence even more and to learn it, because you're there physically, the energy is different. It's not reading, it's like seeing real people and listening to their stories and being like, wow, like they were like me, or they have that thing that I do too. Like I'm not alone, I'm not the only person.
Yeah.
So other people's stories and listening to other people is key, because you learn from others and know, and then you kind of understand and you reflect on yourself, like, so I'm not the only person that has this thing wrong with me, which we think is wrong with us, right? But when you go and open your mind up and you go into this world of growth and like business or just mindset related topics with people who are on that same level of thinking as you, you just automatically start getting excited and feeling grateful, and like you just get excited about wanting to do more with your life. Your passion, suddenly you start finding passion in what you're doing in your life, or you start searching for what's my purpose in my life. They really love that, but what do I really love? I haven't figured it out yet. And so yeah, like events really help me, the books help me, like countless amount of hours of just like watching videos on YouTube and Instagram as well. And what I did was I followed specific people that I loved online. I followed those and I stuck to them. You know what most people do? They just follow everybody and they want to learn what everybody is doing and then mix it together. No, you follow the people that are on a similar journey to you. You take what's best out of what they're teaching and then you put it into your own practice and you share it in your genuine way. And that's what I was doing. I just picked a few of these people that I really love and I keep consuming, and then almost like copying them but making it better. And put like adding Sadiq's taste to it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's such a really important point, because I think what you're saying about being around people is when you go from, you said at the very beginning, obviously we're almost programmed through the education system and what we're told is success and this is what life is and get a job and blah, 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 blah. That actually when you go into this world, if you're on your own, you're just like, I'm a freak. No one else thinks like this. And you're talking to your friends and like, what are you talking about? What the hell's the law of attraction? What, you're crazy. And then all of a sudden you get yourself in a room of people like, yeah, I'm totally with that. And you're like, yay, I'm not on my own anymore.
Yeah,
so
100%.
I think being in those events, it's so, so powerful. And it hopefully the world will open up again soon,
It
and they
will.
can start getting back in place. But I think that's really important. And also, what you're saying about having a mentor, I've always said to people, like, choose a mentor and stick with it. Whether it a handful of people you follow on Instagram, or whether you're actually going to work with someone. Don't work with 5 different coaches. Don't work with because they're all going to have their own different, like you said, your own little twist on things. Like,
Yep.
if they're going to work with Sadiq, that you're going to teach them your way because that works. And it's so important because there's so much out there. I mean, you've got some people who are like, hey, just meditate and everything will be totally fine. And then you're like, other people are like, you got to work 50 hours a week. And it's just like, what do I do?
Which one? Yeah. So wait, okay. So I have a question for you, actually, Heather. I want to throw something at you just to get your perspective on it. What do you think is what would you say is the difference between a coach and a mentor? Like, what's the difference?
Great question. So I think a coach, you can be a coach very easily. I think you can go, anyone could go and train and be a coach and help someone that's not, 10 steps behind them. I think if you're going to be a mentor, you have to practice what you preach. If you're going to be a mentor, you have to have lived what you are teaching. So I think when so for me, I mentor people, and there are other people I coach. So for people that are just like, I need to get my together, and I'm like, I can do that, I can mentor you on that, I got it. So I think you can't, it's the same as if you were going to hire a personal trainer. You're not going to hire an overweight McDonald's eating personal trainer because you're like, man, you are not practicing what you preach. Exactly. So it's the same thing. If it's a mentor, it's someone who's lived it, done it, can actually show you this is what it is. Whereas you can coach by being trained to be a coach. So that's my definition of it.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good definition. I like that, because I think a lot of people get confused with like, what's the difference between a coach and a mentor? I think for me, the only difference is like a mentor is someone that's kind of more harder to reach out to because they're kind of way ahead of the game. And as you said, they're practicing what they preach. They're so busy in their own life, business and kind of journey that you almost only can learn from them indirectly unless they open up to like mentoring masterclasses and sessions and virtual sessions and events and stuff like that. But I think a coach is someone that you can always reach out to because, as you said, they also have gone through and done what you want to learn from them. But they're also people who like they're on the ground with you, like they're kind of on the ground still with you. They're still like going, like they're still hustling on that way to their life and their success, that they don't mind helping these people along with them. And also I think a coach is someone that has like it's just someone that's more easier to reach out to and to be like, hey, can I have your help, because I really want that person's help but I can't reach to them because they're like far away and they must be really busy, but can I get your help because I feel like I can resonate with you and your journey so far as well, and you've been through what I've been through too, so could you kind of help me with a little bit of this kind of messy spaghetti mindset that I have right now? Can you just help me figure stuff out the way you did? Like, how did you go from shy to confident? I'm still shy, I need help on that. And so we don't mind like taking those people and say, look, we can teach you how we got out of that, and after we've done that, you kind of like fly on your own kind of journey, and you become that kind of coach and mentor to others from kind of sharing that.
And I think it's, I mean, that's slightly my mentoring clients, I only ever have 5 maximum ever at a time, because I'm like, you got me, like you've got me on the DMs, you've got like, if you need something, that's when I'm there. Whereas, if you're coaching with me, it's generally in a group program and it's not as sort of, personal, I suppose. But I think it's just important to have someone, you need to, and there's a lot of people that maybe listen to this that don't have thousands to invest in a coach or have mentors. So that's the joy of the internet, right? Like you can have group programs which make it more accessible for people. But like you did at the beginning, just start with like, find a handful of people on Instagram who are like, you're amazing, I'm going to follow you, and you can learn. There's so much free content. It's not like we're living in a world where there's not enough content out there. So
there's so much. Just literally Google's your best friend.
Everything is Googleable for sure. So with where you are now, like with your business and everything you're doing now, what would you say if there were 3 things you could say to someone who's maybe just starting out, or maybe they've been sort of doing this for a year or so and they're like, man, it's hard, like I'm not getting where I want to be, or something's stopping me? What would you say your 3 top tips, lessons, pieces of advice that you would give someone?
So number one for me, every single time, whenever anyone ever asks me for any kind of advice or tips or anything about life, the first thing I always talk about is gratitude. Like it's the number one thing in my mind. It never changes. It's always the same thing. Because I think as much as we find things hard to do in our life, as much as we're not getting the success right now, as much as the results are not coming, or a pandemic comes in our life and just wipes us all out and just makes us feel like crap and like, oh my gosh, like what am I going to do now? I'm stuck. We always have to, and I know it's hard, believe me, I speak to so many people on a daily basis. I know it's so hard right now, especially what's going on in the world. But you have to just realize that, trust me, whatever you have right now, it is enough. Like you actually have more than what majority of the percentage of the world out there that are suffering bad don't have. You have it. Like your house, like the shower, like the water that you use every morning, like the water that you drink, like the food that you're eating, even if it is, baked beans and toast or something, like it is still is something where you are, you're healthy, you're alive. And something that Gary Vee always talks about, and I know you love Gary Vee as well, like he always talks about this one concept of like 400 trillion to one is the opportunity that we had to be alive right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like the chance of us being alive right now is 400 trillion to one. Like the way he says it's so funny. It's like your mother and your father could have sex like, a couple minutes later and you would not have been born or something. Like, it's just, how could you? We have to come back to that level of gratitude. Like, my gosh, like you have enough in your life. Trust me, someone out there is like looking for breadcrumbs right now to eat, or they're walking miles to go and get fetch water, and you have it coming out of your tap. So for me, gratitude is always the first thing. I wake up and I go to sleep every day, non-negotiable, just reminding myself, just literally just saying out loud or in my head the things that I'm grateful for every single day.
And I think it's really powerful.
Yeah, and just to add to that, Eva, every single morning, I never ever, I switched the alarm off on my phone because my phone is my alarm. So I switched it off, and then I remove I see all the notifications that come up on my phone. I just remove every single one. I don't even like read a single one. I delete, remove them all. And then the first kind of 45 minutes to an hour of the day, I don't even go, I'm not on my phone. And that's you guys telling that I'm the most social media guy that doesn't sleep and stuff, right? But I'm the one who doesn't use my phone in the morning, 45 minutes to an hour. I actually consciously want to wake up, go and have that shower, think in the shower. That's where my best creative kind of ideas come, when I'm having a shower. So I have that shower, I get ready, and then literally when I'm walking to the tube in the morning, that's the time when I literally repeat to myself while I'm moving. Again, the fitness aspect of that comes in, where you're moving, not just sitting down and using law of attraction and being like, I want to attract this and that into my life, which is amazing, but go and do something. Like, take action is what I always talk about, right? Do something. So moving and then sharing with yourself, these are the things I'm grateful for. Even things like, my hair. Like, I've got hair. Some people are bald. I've got legs. Someone doesn't have a leg. Some people don't have legs. Like, I've got my arms to eat with and to play sports with. Some people don't have arms. You know what I mean? So I take it to such a serious level. It humbles me every day. It makes me like, it just reminds me like I have enough. No matter how much I think I don't have, or how fast things are not coming to me, we have enough. And so start with gratitude. That's like definitely for me the first thing.
Yeah, definitely. And I love the fact that you say don't look at your phone, because honestly, so many of my clients, when I'm like, okay, I don't want you looking at your phone in the morning for at least an hour, and they look at me like, what? Are you crazy? Like, no, I'm on my phone in bed. I was like, no, you are not anymore. I was like, don't do that. Yeah, I think it's so important. And I always have mine on like do not disturb. So, because otherwise, if those notifications are there, I'm like, if someone's reached out, I'm like, So it's just like, I don't have anything show up on my phone at all until I consciously make that decision to turn it on. I think it's, and your point about movement, this is something really, really worthwhile. And for everyone that, not many people are walking to train stations and things like that at the moment, but if you get up and just stretch and moving your body and moving the energy, especially in the morning, is so important. And it's a great thing to be sort of doing your gratitude. Just the fact that you even have 10 minutes to be doing exercise, or, just, I think people can see gratitude become a bit cliche. And like, I've got to be grateful for, all these big things as well. But actually, you can be grateful if you're in a bit of a dark place, you can be grateful that you woke up. And then you can be grateful that you had a kettle and you can made yourself a cup of tea, and you've had like, sometimes I've just been so grateful for Amazon Prime because I've forgotten to buy someone a present, and I'm like, oh, thank God it's going to come tomorrow. Woo, okay, great. So it doesn't, you can find gratitude anywhere in any part of your day.
100%. Honestly, it's spot on, because I think that's the main thing. Like that's the beginning and that's the end. Gratitude. Like it will be just being thankful for what you have.
Amazing. What would be your second?
The second thing I would say is definitely, because this is what really changed my life. If I really go back and think about it, the thing that really helped me and changed my life was personal development, like was personal growth. So for anybody listening that hasn't started any kind of a growth journey, you're not learning anything new, you're not following anybody online that's teaching you something that you can learn, that's going to better yourself as a human being, as a person, start that personal growth journey, whatever that looks like to you. It could be like a spiritual journey, it can be a self-development journey like I did, it could be the fitness journey, it could be, I don't know, it can just be like a challenge that you set yourself, but something where you are going to become better at the end of it, some kind of a growth mindset, kind of aspect of your life where when you put your energy and time into this thing, you are going to grow and become a better version of yourself when you come out of it. So for me, personal growth, seriously, like I can't express it enough, because it's what changed me. Like honestly, sometimes I look at my videos from when I started and I'm like, damn man, like I was so shy. Like people talk to me now thinking, I think even you said it on my podcast over there, right? You're like, I can't imagine you being so shy, Sadiq. You're just like so outgoing and
You're like a
confident.
Duracell bunny. You're just like, woo, I'm all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like the thing that really helped me. So just to add on to the personal growth, where my life really changed was that day I asked myself the question, like, why am I really giving a crap about what people think? I literally was like, Sadiq, why do you care what your friends and your mom and your dad and your sisters and what all the people in the world and social media are going to think about you and say about you? Who cares? They don't even know you. Nobody does. You're the only person who knows yourself. As much as I love my mom and dad, they don't know me. They don't know what I want in my life. I can share all my beautiful dreams with them, but they don't care. They're so cultural. They're so like old-fashioned way of thinking. They don't believe in, like, they don't understand it. They don't not believe it. They just don't understand it. So I just don't want to explain it to them. Rather show them through my actions by hustling really hard, working my ass off, and then getting to a level of what I think success is and happiness to me, and then getting them the things or buying them the things that they've always wanted, saying to them, look, my job never gave me this. A job would never give me this, what I've got you. I did it through working hard in a business and doing something that I love, my purpose. And so then they'll realize that, oh wow, like I can't wait to one day just invite them to like a huge event that I have, and I'm going to be speaking, and just invite them as a VIP and sit at the front and be like, look what your son has done. Like this is the people that I'm changing lives every single day. I'm helping this many people every day. You never got it because you thought I just sit in my room on laptop all day. You know what I mean? Like they don't see it. They're like, you're just always in your room, or you're always out. When are you ever home? You don't spend time with the family. I'm like, oh, one day you'll have me enough. You know, like one day I'll always be around. Whenever you need me, I'll be there.
Yeah. No, I think that's so interesting, because I think I've had this discussion with so many clients who just say, yeah, people just don't understand what I do. I'm like, love, don't even try. Like, they're never going to get it. You just have to, exactly what you said, just keep doing a thing, and then they'll see the results and the outcome. They're like, oh yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, we always knew they'd manage it. And it's like, yeah, you still don't know what I do. So,
nobody knows.
No one understands. It's a crazy world, this entrepreneurial journey. And the one thing I just want to pick up that you said really early on when you're talking about like going into the personal development and the personal growth is learning something new. And I think this is so poignant, because our brains get bored. We get bored as humans. We thrive on learning something new, whatever that might be for anybody. And actually, when, it's probably the same for you, but when I look back at the beginning of my journey, the stuff I was learning was blowing my little mind at the time.
Yeah.
And I look now, and it's obviously, it's a very different level of things you learn, but to always be learning something new. The personal development journey never ends. And that's what's so exciting about it, because there's always another layer to what you can actually find out. Are you finding that now, sort of?
100%. Yeah. I mean, our growth journey never ends. Like we can never, we're not perfect, and we can never be the best version of ourselves, because we're constantly striving to be the best version. We'll die trying to be that best version of us. But that's the whole point of life, is trying to be better than you were yesterday. So every single day, by learning something new, whatever it is, it's just that little upgrade, just like our iPhones have upgrades every single couple of months or every year. They have a new upgrade on your phone. You got to be upgrading your mind like that, the same way. Like if you don't, then your old software dies. Your old software gets left behind, and sorry, you have to buy the new phone now, because your phone's not, if you don't update it, it's not going to work anymore. It's the same with your mind. You start dying, not literally, but your mind starts dying into believing in yourself and being creative and finding purpose and being happy. And instead you go down the negative rabbit hole of, depression, anxiety, stress, mental health challenges, and like you go down that rabbit hole, which loads of people are in right now, by the way. And I know that it's hard, and know it's tough, because so many people that I speak to that are going through that right now. The only thing that I can do, I always tell them, I can't change your life. Like, I can't change the way you're thinking right now. What I can do is just be here and listen to you, and get you to really share with me what you're thinking, and just share your thoughts with me, because you're not letting it out. It's all inwards. You're just thinking and thinking and thinking so deep that you're stuck within your own head and your own heart. And so the only thing I can do as your friend is like listen, and you just share with me what you're feeling, what's going on in your little head. Tell me everything. Just share it. Cry if you need to. Like, I tell one of my friends just like burst crying to me like last year, and she was going through like loads of challenges, and I just said, look, if you need to cry, just cry the hell out, and just hug me and cry it all out. She did it, and I swear the next day she was like, Sadiq, I needed that. Like, I needed to release those tears from my body. It's been stuck in me for so long. And I'm so grateful that I have you as a friend that just came into my life and just listened. Like, all I needed was someone to listen to me, and I had no one to talk to.
Yeah.
And so that was really powerful. And I think,
right now, I think that's really important, because I had this discussion with someone recently. It's like, so often we go, oh, how are you? And we're like, we don't actually want you to answer the question. We just want you to go, good, so we can move on to the next thing.
Exactly.
So, the next time people are actually saying, how are you? Like, listen, take that question seriously and share. I think that's that's a beautiful story. So what was your third piece of advice?
So the third one, I was just thinking about it now, actually. I was just thinking, what can I share as the third one? Because there are loads of things that I want to give out there and help your listeners with. But I think the one I'm going to go with that's like, it's calling me out right now, something that I don't really talk about a lot, to be honest, but it's right now in the top of my head, is creativity. It's like finding some kind of creativity in your life. So there's gratitude, there's personal growth, and then those two will help you kind of towards finding something that you love doing, like create something creative. What I mean by that is, it can be something like a hobby, or it can be something that that you've always wanted to do, but other people told you can't do it. That kind of creativity I'm talking about, like where you can really express yourself how you want to express yourself. Some people do it through art. Some people do it through writing books. Some people do it through videos like me, and some people do it through I don't know, like doing some kind of a course and putting that into the world and letting people learn from that. Whatever it is, find some kind of creativity in your life, and believe in yourself to just go and do that every day. Just take little steps towards, like, let me learn this, or let me become better at this thing that I've always wanted to do, but I've been stuck in my head because of people's judgment of me, because of what they're going to say or how they're going to feel, or they're going to tell me I can't do it, and they're going to tell me I'm going to fail and stuff like that. So many people have dreams and this creativity I'm talking about, but they're letting other people stop them. As I said, my life only changed when I stopped caring what other people think, and I just started talking to the camera. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I didn't have fancy edits and subtitles. I just started talking straight from the heart. That's creativity. Like, it's just doing something that really feels right to you. Stop giving a crap what people think. Like, just forget them, whoever they are. Love them, respect them, and just say, but no thank you, and carry on your lane. Like, that's what you got to do. Don't be negative and hurt people. Definitely don't do that. Take their negativity, whatever they say, and kind of like have a shield around you like that. And while they're giving the negativity, like bounce, smile at them, give them that love and kindness, and then let them go away, and then you just carry on your lane. Don't listen to people, because nobody knows you better than you know yourself. That's the truth.
Well, I 100%, I talk about having a shield all the time. I'm just like, okay, yeah, fine, bounce off me. Like, that's not even going into my world. What I love, what's your creativity then? What's your sort of creative activities that you do?
So I think the most creative for me, the where I'm the most creative is when I do fitness. Like, that's the truth. Like, I learned so much from this guy that I follow, that he almost tapped into a different level of my creativity. So when I go to any park, or like, recently you saw me do that pushing the car thing, and like, I saw his videos and I was like, I want to do that. So a level of my creativity will unleash, and I'll be thinking, where can I go and do that? Which park has space like that? Which driveway can I do that in? Which park can I go and find that bench in, or find that pull-up bar that I can go and do that thing on? And like, so for me, it really unleashes the most when it comes to fitness for me, but also in my content. If I'm being honest, those are the two aspects that all my creativity comes in. It's like sharing, expressing myself through my content. So I can, because at the end of the day, my social media accounts are my accounts. Nobody runs them for me. There's no team. It's me, and nobody else touches it. I write the captions. I respond to you. I reply. It's all me. So I can be and do what I want on my platforms. Nobody has control over that. They're mine. And so I express myself through my videos, through my quotes, through my the new little carousels that I do to teach people something. Like, those are the ways that I like helping people, and I change it up all the time. Creativity doesn't mean you stick to one thing. It means changing it up. It means constantly also upgrading in the creative world, where you're sharing things that you love, you're passionate about, but also don't be afraid to change, like to go in a different aspect. So suddenly when I start adding weights to my fitness, for example, one day people will be like, oh my gosh, but you're all about body weight and stuff. I'm like, yeah, but sometimes you need to upgrade, right? You need to change. Like, I'm going to go try some weights now, add that into, I'm not just going to go into that, but I'm going to add it into what I already have, and mix it together. So yeah, I think creativity for me comes in my fitness world, and then majority of it comes through my content, in terms of like what I share through all my posts and the quotes and the messages and the videos that I share. That's where I really unleash and just feel like, how can I share something that will inspire someone in some way in the world? That's my only intention. I don't care about likes and followers. I just share what I've really, really love every single day. And people are out there so, focused on the numbers. It's not growing, and not getting liked. How do you get so many comments, Sadiq? How do you get so many people to follow you? Like, how do you grow your Instagram and blah, blah, blah? And then I'm just like, stop worrying about the numbers.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
post what it is that you really love. Like, if you like dancing, post those videos. Who cares? Just post them on TikTok. If you don't like dancing and you want to do singing, go and sing, and don't worry about what they say. You can turn the comments off. If you're so worried about negative comments, turn them off. People can't comment no more. You're happy every day. It's like you're posting in your gallery.
Yeah,
No one's
exactly.
saying
And
anything about it.
I think
You know
it's
what I mean?
I think it's really interesting. Oh, and I love the whole, like, not constantly talking about followers, because it's just the ego metrics are going to bust any business. If you focus on that, you're focusing on the wrong things. And if that is what you're focusing on, you need to reach out to Sadiq. He'll teach you all the things you need, because he works on businesses. So what I think is also, I just want to sort of make sure listeners are understanding that creativity can be something that no one else sees. If you love to just paint, or if you like to sculpt, or if you like to dance, or if you want to, that can be just your thing. I think we're so, I'm on Instagram all the time, but we're so like, oh, if I'm doing something, I should probably share it with the world. It's like, you can have your own little bubble of your own life. It doesn't have to all be shared with the whole world. You can have these things to kind of feed your creative passions, and no one else needs to know about them if you like. Like, it can be your thing, because I know that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle to switch off because we're so driven, and we just literally wake up, we're like, whoa, next, what's next? But actually, that creativity can also be such a beautiful thing that you can just switch off. It can be something where you completely go to another part of yourself, where you can just not be entrepreneur mode or doing mode, and you can just lose yourself in something, which I think a lot of my clients really struggle with. I definitely struggled with that for years.
A lot of people do. And if I'm being honest, I never struggled with it. Should I tell you why? I always knew how important my time was, like me time. I don't know why. I don't know where it came from. I kind of always knew that Sadiq never get burnt out. Like, never, as much as I love what I do, and I love so much what I do as a coach now, but you can imagine the constant negativity and the constant things that I need to hear on a daily basis in people's life, and what they're going through, and how much empathy I have and compassion for these people. I'm like, man, like, I can only imagine what you're feeling right now, because I've never felt that before. But it's like, all of that negative energy I can take on people's energy, and then kind of just like throw it away. And are you okay now? And they're like, yeah, I feel much lighter and better. I'm like, amazing, cool, let's go and have a great week then. And if you need me, I'm here. When you need me, just message me, let's have a call, whatever. And so for me, I always knew that as hard as I work, I always kind of celebrated my little wins along the way. And so one of the things that I do for any listeners that wants to know, like, how a really cool way that you can go and switch off when things are back to normal again, because it's really hard right now. But what I used to do is I used to go to the cinema by myself. That's how I used to switch off. And some people found, when I told people at the beginning, they found it a bit weird. Like, oh, what? You're a loner. Like, don't you have a girlfriend? Like, don't you have anyone you can go with? I was like, that's not the point. That's really not the point. You're not getting it. The reason why I go to the cinema and watch a film, I don't care what film it is. I just pick whatever film that's decent. I go there and I can just be me and just chill. Like, put my phone on airplane mode, and I have 2 hours to just indulge in this movie, whether it's good or not. It's just me and some popcorn, and it's like, that's it. No sharing, no one next to you. Like, it's just me, you know, it's just selfish time. But the thing is, we have to be selfish before we become selfless. That's the biggest thing I learned. Like, you can't expect to give everybody your time, your energy, your love, your passion all the time. When the hell are you going to recharge? When the hell are you going to take time for you to sleep, for you to do something that you love? As much as you love helping people, before you help people, you help yourself first. So that could be a way, when things back to normal in whichever country you're listening to this, like, go to the cinema by yourself sometimes. Just try it out. I told some of my friends to try it out. They tried it and they said, it's actually a really good idea. We just relax. Like, we had no thoughts because we're just watching a film, having popcorn, enjoying ourselves.
I think that's such a beautiful message, which people might, I just want to recap it, the whole, you need to be selfish before you can be selfless. I absolutely agree with you on that one. Before lockdown and all the pandemic stuff, I would just book a hotel for a night for myself, and I'm like, right, I'm off. And people are like, oh, are you meeting friends? I'm like, no, I'm just gonna be in my beautiful little room, have my beautiful things for 24 hours, and I'm not gonna speak to anybody. It's just 100% my time. And people are like, oh, that's weird. I'm like, nope, it's essential. Because otherwise
I love it. Yeah.
You don't, and same with you with the cinema. I'm like, I can totally understand that. You're in a dark room. You don't need anyone else there. You're just watching a movie.
You just need you. And I guess that's where, like, a little bit of self-love, self-care, that kind of stuff comes in place, where it's like, that's your time. When I work out, I tell people, look, I love you, and you're amazing, and like, I'm a good person. I promise you, I'm kind and compassionate and empathetic, and I love you. But when I work out, please leave me alone. I like working out by myself. I don't like partner workouts. Like, I genuinely love doing myself, because I know that I can just fully just express myself and let out any bad energies that I have. I can just let it all out when I work out. That's also how I release tension and energy for myself. Any kind of anger, stress, I release it through fitness as well.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. When people are like, oh, let's go for a run together, I'm like, no. I don't want to. I want to run with
you, but no. Okay,
like, I'll see you afterwards for a coffee, but don't run with me.
Yeah, I'm the same, exact same.
Oh, it's been amazing. I've loved this conversation. We could talk for hours. So what I would love to know is, where is the best place, because you are everywhere on all the platforms, so where is the best place for people to come and find you and connect with you?
Just everywhere. Just whatever platform you use, just add me there. Like, my name is Sadiq Hussain, so you can add me on, like, LinkedIn, for example, or Facebook. Otherwise, just the best place to, like, message me would be Instagram or LinkedIn, if you add me on LinkedIn. But even on LinkedIn, like, because I don't accept everybody's request when they request it, because there's loads that come in and I don't know loads of people. But on Instagram, you can just message me in the DM, and it will always come through there. So if you want to chat, or you want to ask me something, or something in the conversation sparks your interest, just shoot me a DM on Instagram. That'll be the best place to just reach out directly to me, and I always respond within same day usually. So yeah, let me know if you guys need any help or support with anything, and I'm always here to be of service.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sadiq. It's been genuinely a blast. I've just seen the time. I'm like, right, we really need to wrap it up, because otherwise we will be here for hours. So thank you so much. And I'll put all the links in the show notes, and also I'll be tagging him everywhere in my Instagram, so you guys can all reach out and find him on there. Thank you so much, my love.
Thanks, Eva.
Thank you for listening to the Focused and Fearless podcast. If you'd like to continue the conversation, or have a question that you would like answered in an upcoming episode, head over to Instagram and connect with me at Heather Angel Coaching. If you enjoy this podcast, please share your thoughts in a review on iTunes. I truly value your feedback, and I take the time to read every single review. Have a beautiful week, and I'll see you in the next episode.